Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Mimosa Fridays podcast, a show where we share powerful life lessons and a few laughs as Gail empowers others as she sits at the intersection of people, purpose, and politics while sipping on mimosas. Now grab some orange juice and champagne and welcome your host, Gail Dudley.
So y'all, this is where we're headed. Yeah, she's the bomb. This woman, I met her and fell in love with her the day I met her. So y'all, we're gonna welcome Crystal Washington Booth. Y'all, pay attention. Get you paper, your journal, your laptop, your smartphone. Take notes. Take notes. You're probably saying, well, I don't live in Florida. Take notes anyway, because you might end up relocating, or she'll talk you into moving there, like she's been trying to talk me into moving there. But I'm not listening. I'm not listening. Y'all, Crystal B. Washington Booth. And by the way, her beloved husband, who's now in glory, is Dr. Charles Edward Booth. And let me tell y'all, he was a friend, a brother, a father in the Dudley family. And so, of course, when he introduced his bride, hey, I know he had already checked her out and she was cool with me. So there's that. But y'all, she's a licensed realtor in the state of Florida. She utilizes a consultation approach for both buyers and sellers. Her expansive marketing and business development experience have propelled her entry into the real estate industry, Her primary market areas are greater Orlando areas and surrounding counties. Prior to real estate, Crystal was most recently Chief Business Development Officer. She was responsible for leading and supporting acquisition of new clients, channel partners, and investors. Y'all, she's graduated of the University of Cincinnati. She's earned a bachelor's degree in communication there. She also holds a Master of Business Administration from Capital University. I can go on and on and on, but y'all don't want to hear all that. Y'all just want to see her and hear all the nuggets she has because she's thebomb.com. Do me a favor as I'm bringing her in. Go ahead and share this live, y'all. Share this live. You don't want to miss this. Boom. What's up, girl?
Good morning, Gail. Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fabulous. You see the wonderful Florida sunshine coming through?
I don't even want to hear it. Girl, I'm so glad you decided to get up and hang out with us this morning on News in Motion.
Thank you. I appreciate the invitation. I definitely appreciate the invitation.
Absolutely. Well, besides you wanting me to move to Florida, come on, we got to talk about, people may have questions as, is this a good time to buy or sell my home? What's my property worth? And then also all the things with the pandemic and for people who may be behind. We got a whole lot of questions, but I'm going to let you do you because I know you know what you're talking about. And I'm so excited to hear all the many things. I'm sure people will ask questions and I'll put it up on the screen. But other than that, I'm just so glad you're here hanging out with us today.
Thank you so much. And yes, I do want you in Florida with me. This is every day feels like it's vacation. But on a serious tip, the conversation today goes beyond Orlando. My footprint is, I'm licensed in Orlando, but I have partners throughout the United States and in some of the international markets as well. So this discussion and our conversation can impact you no matter where you are or no matter where you actually live. So
cool.
Take it away.
You take it away, girl. I'm out. Go for it.
Okay, well, good. Well, one of the things out in this market, I think a lot of you have probably heard, oh my goodness, it's a seller's market. I can't afford to buy a house. It's costing too much money. There's pros and cons both ways. And it really just depends on where you are in your particular life cycle. I deal with a lot of clients who relocate here to the Orlando market. And one of the pieces that I bring in, and I tell people, I treat them as if they are my family members. One of the key pieces is, what do you want to do for your life and your family? And so that's how I approach everything. How did I get into real estate? I have purchased so many homes myself, living in different cities from Cincinnati, Columbus, Dayton, Knoxville, Tennessee, most recently Pickerington. And one of the things I found out was that all realtors are not created equal. And I found myself doing a lot of the work myself. I was a property manager. I had investment properties for about 17 years. And so I'm able to walk people through the entire home ownership process. So if you are thinking about, you know what, I've always wanted to have a two family, is this the right time for me to purchase? Do I want to have a vacation home? What does that look like? Or, you know what, as we're traveling, I always go to Airbnbs. Maybe I can own an Airbnb in the marketplace in which I like to visit. Is it the Smoky Mountains? Is it Orlando? Is it Miami? And those are the discussions that I actually have with my clients of what's best for you. The other side of the coin that we are preparing ourselves for, and no one really knows, and the crystal ball is not out there, is, you know what, the pandemic has hit my household, and I don't even know how I'm making my payments. I actually work with clients as well when you have to have that difficult discussion of, I'm behind 3 months in my payment. Do I sell my house now to try to salvage my credit? One of the pieces that I bring to the table is, prior to real estate, I actually was a banker for 15 years. So I understand the financial component. So you can throw those questions to me if you're thinking about buying a house. I talk to people about lease to own. So there's different gamuts in the process that we can talk about, that we can target for your particular lifestyle or what particular chapter you are in your life. For those who are looking at relocating, one of the items that I was actually blessed with, I work for HGTV, and working for HGTV, I managed our relocation process. And so if you're wondering what questions you need to ask your employer, or you think they've thrown you a good carrot, I can give you some pros and cons from a corporate standpoint to say, you might need to ask for a little bit more, or ask them to tweak your package there. So that's kind of everything in a nutshell. So for those of you who are saying, I'm sitting tight, I'm not moving, I don't want to do anything, look at your current interest rate on your property. If you are paying over, I want to say 4%, and some people still are, you need to consider refinancing. You may not, you may say, I don't have the extra cash. There's different ways in which it can be structured for you so that you can lower your monthly payment, keep your term the same, keep your term lower. But really, why pay that interest to someone if you don't have to? Gail, do we have any questions coming up from any of the audience members?
There's one question we have. Can a person who is behind on their mortgage, I want to make sure, can a person who's behind on their mortgage, are they able to get a new home, or do they need to salvage their past payments first?
It depends. It completely depends. It depends on how far behind you are, and it depends on what your credit score is. And so depending upon what those numbers are, because if you have the equity in your home, we can pay it off at closing and get you current. If you are, if your credit score, so the number that people target is between 580 and 600. So if you don't monitor your credit report, go on to Credit Karma, go on to Experian, and at least monitor your credit. And the reason why I say that is because my identity was stolen before.
Oh, wow.
And that is not a fun process when you try to correct when someone has stolen your identity. One, it keeps you posted so that you know if someone has done an inquiry on your credit bureau. And two, it kind of helps you manage and monitor what your credit score is. Now, what we say is, when you use those consumer facing sites, the Credit Karma, the Experian, those are a snapshot in time. So that's going to give you a ballpark of what your credit score is. But what the bank uses and the finance companies use, it's a more detailed approach. So whatever you see there, just know that your credit score is probably about 10 to 15 points. It could be a 10 to 15 point swing, either up or down, depending upon what bureau they're using. So yes, to answer that question, yes, you still potentially can, but it's a more detailed discussion of, let's figure out what we can do to target that.
Okay.
If it's medical bills, because a lot of people, with your deductible, with medical insurance, if it's medical bill related, then there's some things that you can work out, and there's some explanations you can do. If you just decide to go on vacation and not pay your bills, that's a whole different discussion.
Right, right. Here's another question. If you are denied a loan, should you try again somewhere else within the same month? Will that affect your, and I'm putting it up here now, will that affect your credit score?
Yes, it will. And so the question is, why were you denied a loan? What I always tell people is if they deny it and they say it's something based on your credit, you have that denial letter. You can get that detailed credit report, get it, and go through it. If you're denied a loan, depending upon the reason. So maybe it's you have not been on your job long enough. Look at those reasons and you can tweak it. I do not recommend you going out applying someplace before you have done the work to find out why you were denied. Because what happens is each time you apply for credit, you're like, you know what? Crystal just didn't like me and she declined my loan because she didn't like me. I'm going to go to bank ABC or mortgage company ABC. Each time you go and do that, that's a hard hit on your credit bureau. It's going to stay out there for 2 years and it's going to bring your credit score down 10 to 20 points. So
Wow.
think about that. And at the same time, think about that because where people don't really think about the credit score and, what am I doing? If you apply for a car loan, when you go in there, they're selling you everything. And they're going to say, we're going to see who we can get you approved through ASAP. And they run your credit through whichever companies they want to. It can be one, it can be two, it can be three, it can be up to five. And each one of those credit inquiries is a hard hit on your credit bureau and it stays out there for 2 years. And so those are the things that you have to think about. I tell all of my clients when they're at that point and they've gotten pre-approved, and I'll tell you, because it's the inventory is so low right now, it's not a quick thing where you go out, you look at the house, you bid on it, and it's yours. Sometimes it's taken me maybe 60 days to get one of my clients into a property. Is it because I'm not good? No, it's because they have this long list of stuff that they have to have. And then two, the inventory is low and people are paying so much money for properties that, they may have some extra cash or, some agents will tell them, oh, take the money out your 401k. I do not recommend that because you're not going to be happy when it's time to retire unless you need that money for the down payment. But to use the extra cash just to get into that property, I don't believe in sensational borrowing. And that's what happens. A lot of people are doing sensational borrowing. So to answer your question, no, do not just go and apply until you've done your research.
Okay. So we have another one. The market seems so difficult to enter for first time buyers. They come compete. Wait a minute. They can't.
I know where you're going. They can't compete with the cash buyers. Do you have advice for them?
Yep.
Yes, I work a lot with first time buyers as well. It is a little difficult for the first time buyer just because, these people may have more equity. They may have more cash. There's a lot of different factors that come into play, but you still get in. I've gotten people with VA loans that have gotten approved and we've beat out other people. I've gotten other first-time home buyers. What I have found is, and where I have the discussion, and I'm sorry, my sunlight's coming in, y'all. So my
I was getting ready to say you're doing that on purpose.
My sunlight is coming in. I may have to pull my blinds. But what I tell people is this your first house or is this your dream house? And most of the time with the first-time home buyers, they are looking at that dream house. I've owned 9 different houses and each house has had a different thing. And, I've tweaked something here or there. A lot of times first time home buyers want the house like their auntie or like somebody else immediately. And you may not be able to get that. So narrow down your list. Yes, you can compete. And what you have, and here's the thing where people are asking questions. You might have a house that's listed for $300,000. Somebody may bid on that house $335, $340. But guess what? If the house doesn't appraise, that owner has one of two things to do.
Wow.
They can put the house back on the market or they can reduce the price down to what the appraised value is. So the cash people, if they want to pay that extra money, so be it. But more than likely, and if you look, so look and see if you have a house in your neighborhood that you like. If you have a house in your neighborhood you like and you see it's gone on the market, pull it up a couple months from now and see what it sold for. You may see a difference in what it sold for versus what it was listed for. And a lot of that is financing. And that's not just between cash buyers. It's a matter of, is the value there when the appraiser comes out?
Wow. Kenya just wants to say to you, oh, just rub it with the Florida sun. Ohio is great. Yeah, that's what she's doing. I saw this, and she's in that ray of sunshine trying to tempt me. Kenny Stanley says, how can I find out what I'm approved for with my VA loan?
Kenny, you know me. Send me a personal message. And Gail, can you put my email address in the chat, or can I put it in there? Because if anyone has any questions, you can reach out to me.
What is it again?
Crystal W. Booth at kw.com. But to answer your question, what can you be approved for your VA loan? It's a very simple process. Actually, the mortgage broker that I work with is nationwide. My mortgage broker is New American Funding. You can go if you bank at Chase, if you bank at Third Federal, wherever you bank at, they can go with you. You just start the process with them. Keep in mind, if you're not serious, don't do it, because that's a hard hit on your credit bureau.
Okay.
And they will be able to tell you what you're approved for. 1 second, Gail. I can't stand that.
Y'all see that sun coming in there. She was like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
All right. That's better.
We
Sorry about that.
No, girl, you good. I know you were trying to tempt me. I know. Here's another question. They sent this to me on my inbox, so I can't pull it up. But the inbox question is it true that if you and your spouse are in a home and the loan is in the spouse's name, can the wife or the husband, I guess I'm following this right, can the wife or the husband apply for a loan for another house and then sell the house they're in?
So if I'm understanding the question correct, the mortgage loan is it in both names, or is it just in the husband's name?
Just in the husband's name.
So if the mortgage loan is just in the husband's name, then it's going to count as far as the husband's debt to income.
So then can the wife go and get a loan?
Yeah, the wife can get a loan in her name only if she credit qualifies based upon her income and any obligations. And that brings up a really good point. And I always tell people, when you're married, you say, oh, you know what? I want everything to be in both of our names. I want our cars in both names. I want our mortgage in both names. There's pros and cons to that, because once you do that, I believe in the house. The house is key. But if you can qualify, or your husband can qualify, when you are on there as a co-applicant, or if you have kids or cousins or family members that say, oh my gosh, I saw this car and I want it, but my credit's messed up, but I want you to co-sign for it. Remember, when you are signing, that goes into your debt to income. So just think about that, and that may impact you because you really wanted to help out cousin Kimmy because she needed a car, but then you and your husband go on vacation. You decide to buy a vacation spot in Florida, and you can't buy it because you signed on that $650 car note for cousin Kimmy. You're not going to be happy.
Okay. Yvonne is asking, first of all, she said hello earlier. She's saying, when they say a soft credit report is not going to affect your score, what does that really mean?
It's not. They're just, so you'll see things out there where people will say, are you pre-qualified or are you pre-approved?
Okay.
And in this market, so pre-qualified it's kind of like that Experian look. Okay. That Experian look where, you know what, your credit score looks good, this looks good. Based upon what I'm seeing as a snapshot, it looks good. We don't I don't even show anybody a house. If you're not pre-approved with me, I don't take you out, because one, with COVID, people don't want everybody just walking through their house. So those days are over. And so the soft pull is like a pre-qualified. A hard pull is a pre-approval. And what they do at the pre-approval is they're getting your bank statements to make sure the money is there. They're getting your bank statements, your pay stubs, your W-2s. And a lot of people think that, you know what, I changed jobs. Can I actually buy this house, they're looking at 2 years of consistent income. So
Okay.
don't worry about if, oh my goodness, I worked for the state and I only worked there for 18 months, but now I work for Chase and it's not the same job. No, it's 2 years of work history. So
Okay.
keep that in mind.
All right. I have a millennial team and they're on my side bank because they work with me. And so this one, of course, is somebody I know very well, is asking the question, if they just purchased a car, can they also begin to look at a condo if they're ready to buy? Or should they wait?
No, you can. Just make sure they didn't do that Experian and Credit Karma and look at your credit bureau and see where
Okay.
your credit score is. But no, you can absolutely do that. The thing that I tell people here, and look at, if you're looking at a condo, just look at what the HOA fee is, because remember, there's no cap on it. And so when I'm working with a lot of my investor clients, it just depends on what the amenities are. So I have communities down here in Orlando where the condo fee may be more than your mortgage payment. And that's
Wow.
because they have, it depends upon the amenities. So if they are offering, the water park and the golf course and all of these other components, then that's what happens. So just look at your condo fee, and yes, you can do both.
Okay. Wow. This is so great. Any other questions before we sign off with Crystal? Trying to see, it's a little delay here, so I'm giving them a moment to do that. So here's another one. What about vacation homes? Can you have a home and you're already at debt to income ratio? Can you still go for a vacation home?
Yes and no. So depending upon, there's a lot of different classifications of what people consider as vacation homes. So do you consider the timeshare a vacation home? Yes and no. Timeshare people are going to let you go in. They say, we're going to give you a Visa gift card if you listen to our 90-minute presentation. They give you breakfast, and they're just trying to sell you like crazy. They have their own financing, but you're going to pay a nice penny for that. They'll let you go over the debt to income. If you say, I want to get an Airbnb and I'm going to come and stay in it a little bit, and then I'm going to rent it out the rest of the time, they're going to use your normal debt to income, because you're going to have to get a traditional mortgage loan for those.
Okay. Ron Robinson's asking, what should your credit score be if you want to buy a house?
FHA, it depends. So if you do some of the lease to own programs, the credit score is 580. If you do FHA, you can do 600 to 620. If you do conventional loans, they're looking for a little bit higher. And here's the thing to think about. And this is what I tell people, and I just break it down in two different categories. How much money do you have for your down payment? If you don't have money for your down payment, look at going VA if you're a veteran. Depending upon if you're in a rural area, you can do what they call USDA loans, and it's 100% financing, similar to VA loans. Or you'll see people doing FHA loans. FHA loans, you just have to put down 3.5%. So the rule of thumb is 3.5% is what you put down for your down payment. But then what people forget to tell you, they get you all excited. That's all you have to put down. You have closing costs too. Your closing costs are another 3.5%. So look at your bank account. If you're getting some stimulus money, just consider that free money and put it aside. When you get your income tax money, put it aside. If you get bonuses, put it aside. But the rule of thumb is 3.5% for FHA, 3.5% for your closing costs. The closing cost component goes on no matter what loan you have. When you're doing a VA loan, you can roll those closing costs into the amount of your mortgage. The other thing to think about is where you'll have people say, well, I really want to get in and this is what I want to do. You can do a conventional loan at 3.5%. But what happens is, because you're not putting 20% down, your private mortgage insurance payment is higher. So if you don't have 20% to put down, go FHA, because your PMI, that is the interest that you're going to have to pay, that they're taking a gamble on you because you don't have enough skin in the game, putting your money down. Go FHA because your interest rate is lower. Now, not your interest rate, your private mortgage insurance premium is lower. But how does this impact you? So if you go out there and you start looking at houses, some people don't like the FHA loan. You'll see that they'll only take cash or conventional. And the reason being is when you have the government-backed loans, there are clauses in there. And the clause is, if the property does not appraise, we're not loaning the money. And so in this market where people are trying to get more, they don't want to do that risk factor because they know that their property is not going to, the value is not going to be there.
Okay.
Conventional gives you a little more leeway. Government-backed programs say no. They'll try and get you, people will sign waivers saying, oh, I'll do a waiver contingency for the appraisal and this, that, and the other. When you're doing the government-backed loans, you can sign whatever you want. Their stuff supersedes that.
Okay. Here's our last question, and y'all don't forget, I put her email in the link, and I'll have her also share it with us as well. The last question, and we got to go for the win. The last question is from Nawana Turner. If your first house was FHA loan and you sold it, can you get another FHA loan for your second house?
Yes, you can, as long as it's been 3 years.
Okay. All right, there's still more questions coming in here. So Krista will come into the thread, and then she'll come through and answer your questions as well. Can you let people know how to reach you? We did put the email in there, but if you could verbally share it with the group as well.
My email address is Crystal, CRYSTALW, Booth, BOOTH, @KW.com. And then you can also find me. You can also find me on social media. My Facebook page is Crystal Sells Florida. So you can like my page. You can follow me and see exactly what I'm doing. And yes, Latrice, you're ready to sell because you're relocating. Congratulations, Soror.
This has been great. And so y'all, before she goes off the screen, our For the Win, Krista, we do a For the Win every day, Monday through Friday. Our For the Win is you. I think you are the bomb.com. I think you are doing great things. I love how you handle life. I just love everything about it.
And you see my light. I have to keep doing it. Y'all, this is that morning sunlight.
That I want to hear it.
When I tell you it's coming in, it's coming in.
We can tell. But yeah, you get the For the Win today. Hey, Mike Nicholson, what's up, buddy? Hey, y'all, before we sign off, real quick, we got to have an inspirational message. I'm going to just leave Krista one here so she can see some of the comments that may be coming in. But listen, y'all, the inspirational message for today is no need to defend yourself. Yesterday, I was talking about Daniel chapter 2. Hopefully, some of y'all went in there and checked out Daniel chapter 2. Today, I want to talk about Daniel chapter 3. In verse 8, those who came to tell, don't be like them. I'm going to talk about more of that tomorrow. Verse 12, but then they told the king, but there are some who's not doing what you asked us to do. Verse 16, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And since she's on here, I gotta say what her late husband used to say, a bad Negro. They were bold, truthful, and with the king. They let him know that. They said, no, we're not getting ready to bow to you. We don't bow to no other God. So basically what I want to say today in the inspirational message, you do not have to defend what it is you want to do. I want to specifically read verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to save us from it, and he will rescue us from your hand. But even if he does not, we want you to know, O king, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of your gold you have set up. So y'all stop trying to defend yourselves out here. You don't need to do that. It's not necessary, not at all. Just go about and do what God has called you to do in this season. All right, y'all. Y'all know what I say. Stay well. And remember, make some moves.
Catch Gail each weekday on News in Motion on Facebook Live at facebook.com/newsinmotion or her YouTube at youtube.com/GailDudley. You can also follow Gail on Instagram and Twitter at Gail Dudley and visit her website, www.gaildudley.com. Until next week, as Gail always signs off, stay well and remember to make some moves.